Fu Hongchuan put down the test paper and his light gaze landed on Lu Ming. Lu Ming took a step back. He had a bad feeling. He braced himself and said, "Brother." "No, it's teacher." Reporting to teacher, "I'm Lu Ming, transferred from class 1. Fu Hongchuan raised his hand and looked at his watch. "You're already 10 minutes late. Just stand outside." Lu Ming. It was too difficult for him. Therefore, Lu Ming stood outside for the entire lesson. Qin Feng placed his desk on the ground. "Brother Lu, I'll be leaving first. This lesson is for Liang Hua, so I won't be accompanying you. Get lost." Lu Ming kicked Qin Feng. At night, Fu Hongchuan was the one who brought Qin Sheng back to the Qin family. Wu Chong called Qin Sheng, naturally to recruit Qin Sheng into the painting association. "Is this Qin Sheng?" Wu Chong asked with a smile on his face. He looked rather wretched. Qin Sheng furrowed her brows slightly. "Yes. Student Qin Sheng, on behalf of H City's Painting Association, I would like to sincerely invite you to join our association." Wu Chong really wanted to invite Qin Sheng to join the association. In the future, when Qin Sheng became famous, it would be beneficial to the association. The association could benefit from Qin Sheng. Would a city dare to look down on their association? Qin Sheng had never liked trouble, so she rejected without even thinking. "I don't want to go." Wu Chong. Couldn't she be more tactful? Wu Chong still looked good. "Qin Sheng, may I ask why you don't want to join?" "I have too many things to do, so it's troublesome." Wu Chong fell silent for a moment. He even wanted to nod his head. There were really a lot of things to do in H City's Painting Association. Every time, he had to recruit members, arrange for people to participate in various painting competitions, teach the association members how to draw, and have all sorts of social events. He was so busy that his feet could not touch the ground almost every day. However, since it was Qin Sheng who made this request, and Qin Sheng was a painting genius, as long as he could recruit her into the association, he had to try his best to meet her conditions. Wu Chong said with a smile, "It's no trouble. It's definitely no trouble. It's just a name. You don't have to do anything." "I'm not going." Qin Sheng had not relented when she hung up the phone. A beeping sound came from the phone. Wu Chong took a deep breath. If he could forgive, he could forgive. All geniuses had tempers. This Qin Sheng, even if he had to visit the cottage 3 times, he had to recruit her into the association. On this side, Qin Sheng put down her phone and turned on her computer. Her fingertips lightly clicked the mouse. She logged into the Black Emperor's web page. After scrolling through the forum, she arrived at the competition arena and did some small missions. Nowadays, very few people dared to compete with QS, and they did not want to go up there to be abused. At the same time, many hackers sent private messages to Lu Ming. "Handsome, QS is online. Handsome, your chance to take revenge is here. Handsome, help me torture QS to vent my anger." These hackers also had the mentality of watching a show without thinking too much about it. They hoped that Lu Ming could win, but even if QS won, they would just treat it as watching a battle between experts. Thus, once Lu Ming went online, he saw a bunch of messages, 99+. Lu Ming clicked on it and was happy when he saw the messages. This QS was finally online. Otherwise, he would really think that he was a coward. Lu Ming publicly announced in the world that he wanted to compete with QS. "The most handsome in the universe. Come, QS, let's have another match. This time, I won't lose again. If I lose again, I'll be a bastard." Qin Sheng narrowed her eyes as she looked at the message box that popped up. She typed these 2 words on the keyboard. "No match. The most handsome in the universe. Hey, you don't dare to compete with me? Are you afraid of losing?" After waiting for a minute, there was no response from Qin Sheng. Lu Ming was impatient. "The most handsome in the universe, QS, no matter what, you have to compete with me today." Lu Ming was determined to compete with Qin Sheng so that he could regain his lost face. At this moment, a hacker said weakly, "Handsome, QS is challenging the 5th trial." Lu Ming. When did QS run away? Then who was the person in front of him? A few minutes later, the QS logo disappeared in front of his eyes. Then, he saw QS appear in the trial that was challenging the fifth trial. Lu Ming was furious. It turned out that the logo he saw was fake. By the way, no one cared about QS tampering with Black Emperor's program and making fake logos, right? Black Emperor's technical staff expressed their grievance. The other party was too strong. They could not stop it. Lu Ming's hand quickly typed on the keyboard, provoking QS. The most handsome in the universe, QS. What's the point of hiding like this every day? You're really like a coward. If you're really a man, come out and compete with me. Qin Sheng held her chin with one hand as she read the message. She was thinking that since she was a woman, she would not compete with him. QS, your skills are too weak. Her disdain was very obvious. Lu Ming. The top of his head was about to start smoking. He was just short of lighting a fire in his hair. The most handsome in the universe, you're weak, your family is weak. Before he could send out this message, he saw the QS symbol go dark. Dark? QS went offline. He had waited so long for him to go online, and this sentence was given to him. Lu Ming was not convinced. He was ranked 9th in a place where hackers gathered. Before this, there were many people who called him an expert. However, Lu Ming felt that the name of an expert was too high profile, so he let others call him handsome. If his computer skills were bad, then not many people would be good at it. In order to prove that his skills were very good, Lu Ming sent a message to the world. The most handsome in the universe, do you guys think that my computer skills are good? Soon, a large group of people was comforting him. Spicy chicken, handsome, if you aren't good, then aren't us small fries trash? VVVV. Handsome, this is the expression of saying that grapes are sour when you can't eat them. QS is worried that they won't be able to beat you in a competition, so they say that you are a noob. Love, handsome, believe in yourself. You really aren't a noob. Come, everyone, is our handsome skills noob? Nail. Not noob +1. I am an expert. Not noob plus 10,086. On the surface, they were comforting Lu Ming, but many people felt that QS was right. QS's hacking skills were really good, setting records one by one. If it was on Lu Ming, he wouldn't be able to do it. QS was better than Lu Ming, so it was normal for them to say that Lu Ming was a noob. However, in order to comfort Lu Ming's little heart, they could only agree with him. After all, last time, Lu Ming was tortured by QS, and he was about to go into seclusion. As for Lu Ming, he had learned hacking skills during this period of time. However, there was a huge gap in their skill level. It was unlikely that he could surpass QS in a short period of time. When Lu Ming saw these words, his heart almost flew up. He crossed his legs. He said that his skills couldn't be weak. If even he was weak, how could there still be experts? Suddenly, a message floated across the computer screen. Even the world's news came out. It was read in all caps. Black Emperor's #1 expert see comments on the most handsome in the universe's post. C. You are really bad. F***CK. Lu Ming almost fell from his chair. It was his brother who appeared. Moreover, he even commented that he was a noob. Lu Ming was extremely resentful. Was he really his younger brother? Although he wasn't the younger brother of the same father and mother, he was still a younger brother who was related by blood. The appearance of Hacker C. The whole world was in an uproar. When he answered, all the hackers agreed. Lu Ming's skills were indeed lacking. Spicy chicken, yes, compared to you, God, and QS, handsome skills are really not good enough. Love, yes, we were just worried that handsome would take things too far. That's why we said those words. VVVV. I didn't mean what I said just now. I believe everyone was comforting handsome. Spike, same +1314520. Just now, everyone was saying that Lu Ming's skills were good, but now, they were all talking about Lu Ming's skills. They were the ones who were the most indignant for Lu Ming just now. Lu Ming. They were really a bunch of people who were used to following the trend. Could they be a little more assertive? When they saw who was more powerful, they would lean towards the other without any integrity. His brother was indeed powerful, but he had not slept with them once in 800 years, unlike him. No matter what happened, he would always go online to take a stroll. In this way, it was better to follow him well. Lu Ming quickly typed on the keyboard, wanting to accuse Fu Hanchuan of something. However, next, he saw Fu Hanchuan's logo was also dark. Lu Ming. He didn't know how many times he was speechless. It was really the same as QS. Lu Ming typed on the keyboard with a crackling sound. The most handsome in the universe, the most handsome in the universe, have finally seen you clearly. When the hackers saw that the HackerC logo was dark, they saw Lu Ming's words and leaned towards Lu Ming again. Love, handsome, don't be like that. Didn't I just say that because HackerC was online? What I said just now was all fake. What lies are also fake? Below, a bunch of hackers echoed. Lu Ming, I don't believe you guys. After saying this, Lu Ming went offline. Once he turned off the computer, Lu Ming called Fu Hanchuan. Brother, my skills are not that good? What you said just now in the world made me lose all my face. Brother, I'm your disciple. Isn't calling me a loser also a loss of face for you? As soon as Fu Hanchuan picked up, Lu Ming complained. After he finished speaking in one breath, a beeping sound came from Lu Ming's phone. Obviously, Fu Hanchuan hung up. QS, I'm not done with you. Just you wait. Lu Ming was really angry. He had never been wronged like this before. He had lost all his face to this QS. Sooner or later, he would teach this QS a good lesson. The days that followed were peaceful. Class 4 did not have Liang Hua as an English teacher, so their mood was much better, not to mention having Fu Hanchuan as their teacher. Fu Hanchuan did not have many skills in teaching, but he spoke good English, was handsome, and had a pleasant voice. People would fall in love with him unconsciously. The people in class 4 listened to the lesson attentively, which led them to discover a phenomenon. Fu Hanchuan's gaze would occasionally fall on Qin Sheng. When he saw Qin Sheng, his eyes would soften. Fortunately, they knew that Qin Sheng was Fu Hanchuan's sister. Otherwise, they would have thought that Fu Hanchuan liked Qin Sheng, the kind of relationship between a man and a woman. As for Class 1, the atmosphere was very gloomy every day. Liang Hua did not have anything to be afraid of anymore. She scolded the students of Class 1 even more. Now, the students of Class 1 did not want to have any more English lessons. In Class 1, only Su Yishu was not affected by Liang Hua's scolding. Qin Churu was scolded by Liang Hua in front of the entire class. In the past, she would have definitely told Lin Shuya. However, she was worried that Lin Shuya would know that she lied and that Qin Sheng did not cheat. This was something that the entire school knew. Qin Churu did not dare to take this risk. A malicious thought slowly formed in her heart. Not only would she destroy Qin Sheng, but she would also teach Liang Hua a lesson. In the blink of an eye, 2 months had passed since Qin Sheng returned to the Qin family. On this day, Fu Hanchuan finished his English class in the morning and drove over to pick up Qin Sheng in the afternoon. When Fu Hanchuan had no classes in the afternoon, Qin Sheng didn't let him pick her up either. In the eyes of others, Fu Hanchuan was very free every day. However, Qin Sheng had experienced a lifetime and knew that Fu Hanchuan was managing a company. In her previous life, HD Group had become the largest group in the world. The company had only been established for 4 years and was still developing. Fu Hanchuan had a lot of things to deal with. Qin Sheng didn't want Fu Hanchuan to pick her up every day since he was very busy. Fu Hanchuan parked his car in the school parking lot and returned to his office. After Qin Sheng finished her last class, he came to pick Qin Sheng up from Class 4. Sheng, Teacher Fu is here to see you. Huang Xiaoyan winked at Qin Sheng. A few days after Fu Hanchuan came to be an English teacher, Huang Xiaoyan began to ship Qin Sheng and Fu Hanchuan in her heart. There was nothing she could do. Fu Hanchuan looked at Qin Sheng too dotingly. They both felt very loving, although Qin Sheng didn't have such a reaction to Fu Hanchuan. Fu Hanchuan and Qin Sheng were brother and sister, but it didn't stop Huang Xiaoyan from making them a couple in her heart. Qin Sheng looked up in surprise and saw Fu Hanchuan walking toward her step by step. Brother Fu, why are you here? Qin Sheng asked in surprise. Grandpa wants to see you. Fu Hanchuan put Qin Sheng's test paper on the table into her school bag. During this time, Huang Xiaoyan consciously stepped aside. She went to Lin Feng's seat at the back and pushed Lin Feng aside. She held her chin and looked at them. Her eyes were filled with red hearts. No, this was too adorable. How could they be brother and sister? They were a perfect match. Qin Sheng nodded. When she heard that old Master Lu wanted to see her, she could no longer refuse. Fu Hanchuan had already packed all the things that Qin Sheng wanted to bring. He held Qin Sheng's school bag in his hand. Sheng Sheng, let's go. Okay. Qin Sheng nodded. However, when they reached old Master Lu's house, they passed by Huang Xiaoyan's house on the way. Qin Sheng looked at Huang Xiaoyan. Xiaoyan, do you want to come with us? Huang Xiaoyan shook her head like a rattledrum. There's no need, Sheng Sheng. You guys go first. It was better for her not to disturb the two of them. Moreover, she could not bear the strong aura of their English teacher in the same car. Seeing that Huang Xiaoyan refused, Qin Sheng did not force her. Previously, she had invited Huang Xiaoyan to take the car with her. Many times, Huang Xiaoyan had not agreed. Huang Xiaoyan went back and squeezed into the bus. Fu Hanchuan and Qin Sheng came to the Lu family together. This time, it was different from before. Knowing that Qin Sheng was coming, old Master Lu would wait for them in front of the villa early. However, Qin Sheng didn't see old Master Lu today, and there weren't many servants around the villa. It was very quiet. Qin Sheng frowned slightly, and Fu Hanchuan explained, maybe Grandpa has something to do at home. Okay. Qin Sheng nodded. Fu Hanchuan parked the car in front of the villa and escorted Qin Sheng out of the car. Fu Hanchuan said dotingly, Sheng Sheng, you go in first. I need to get something. Okay. Qin Sheng knocked on the door. However, no servant came to open it. Qin Sheng frowned slightly. The door was ajar. She hesitated for a moment before pushing the door open. Fu Hanchuan followed behind her. Bang bang bang. Sheng Sheng, happy birthday. With a bang, countless petals fell down. Old Master Lu held a salute cannon and said with a smile. This was a custom-made salute cannon. Was it a real flower or a peach blossom? Hearing Old Master Lu say happy birthday, Qin Sheng was stunned for a moment. In her previous life, after Old Master Lu passed away, she did not celebrate her birthday again. Only on her birthday would she receive a gift. That gift did not have a signature nor an address. Qin Sheng's eyes were teary. She resisted the urge to cry and smiled. Thank you, Grandpa Lu. Fu Hanchuan looked at the peach blossoms on Qin Sheng's hair and the decorations around the villa. The ceiling on the wall was hung with all kinds of colorful ribbons. There were also many flowers around, and the entire villa was filled with the fragrance of flowers. Fu Hanchuan rubbed the space between his eyebrows, feeling a headache. Old Master Lu said that he wouldn't let Fu Hanchuan worry about it, so he let him organize Qin Sheng's birthday on his own. Fu Hanchuan was worried, so he asked Old Master Lu about his plan. Old Master Lu replied with a smile, saying that he wanted to arrange the biggest birthday party for Qin Sheng in the entire city, inviting all the wealthy families and students from Class 4 to come over. He also wanted to tell them that Qin Sheng was someone that he, Lu Zhonghua, was protecting. That way, he would not have to worry about people bullying Qin Sheng. He also wanted to let them know that if they treated Qin Sheng badly, they would have to see if they could bear the consequences. At that time, Fu Hanchuan stopped them. Not to mention that Qin Sheng would not agree, Fu Hanchuan also knew that Qin Sheng was planning to leave the Qin family. If Qin Hai knew about the relationship between Grandfather Lu and Qin Sheng, he would not let go of Qin Sheng. He would also want to get to know those people in the upper circles through Qin Sheng. This would bring a lot of trouble to Qin Sheng. When Fu Hanchuan stopped him at the beginning, Grandfather Lu was displeased. His grandson had always been against him on the matter of Qin Sheng, limiting the number of times he saw Qin Sheng. Even helping Qin Sheng was snatched by him. TSK, he even went to H City High School to be a little English teacher. At this moment, Fu Hanchuan must have thought that Lu Zhonggua's idea was too good. He was even jealous of his grandfather. This was outrageous. If not for him, would Fu Hanchuan have known Qin Sheng? Therefore, Old Master Lu straightened his neck and said, let's do this. Fu Hanchuan, you have to respect the old and love the young. You have to be filial, understand? Fu Hanchuan had a headache, so he told Old Master Lu about the pros and cons. The originally confident Old Master Lu instantly became like a radish, his entire face scrunched up. That Qin family really doesn't treat Qin Sheng as their daughter. Old Master Lu was very depressed, but at the same time, he was also very angry. Look! Was this what biological parents should do? They pampered an adopted daughter who did not have any blood relations to the bone, but they did not care about their own biological daughter. This plan that he had thought about for a long time was rejected. Grandfather Lu said that he would not tell Fu Hanchuan his plan no matter what. Fu Hanchuan could only let him be. He did not expect Grandfather Lu to arrange this birthday party to be so fancy. When Fu Hanchuan's gaze met the smile on Qin Sheng's face, his eyes softened. Forget it, as long as his little girl was happy. Fu Hanchuan stretched out his hand and lowered his eyes, removing the flower petals that fell on Qin Sheng's hair. A clear scent entered Qin Sheng's nostrils. Qin Sheng's face turned red for a moment, but Fu Hanchuan did not notice it. Old Master Lu was also immersed in preparing Qin Sheng's birthday. He did not notice Qin Sheng's abnormality. I'm really old. I forgot about such a small matter. Old Master Lu patted his head and quickened his pace. He did not forget to turn off the lights. The villa instantly darkened. Fu Hanchuan rubbed his brows with a headache. He should have interfered in the beginning. Old Master Lu stayed in the living room for a long time. He lit all 18 candles on the cake on the table. When the candles lit up, Old Master Lu nodded in satisfaction. Fortunately, nothing bad happened. Sheng Sheng. Old Master Lu waved at Qin Sheng. Come here, make a wish and blow out the candles. Qin Sheng walked over. She put her palms together and closed her eyes. After making 3 wishes, she opened her eyes and blew out the candles one by one. Sheng Sheng's wish will definitely come true, Old Master Lu said with a smile. He handed the knife to Qin Sheng. Sheng Sheng, come, cut the cake. Fu Hanchuan looked at the cake that was half the size of the dining table and felt a headache again. It would take at least 20 minutes to cut this piece of cake. Fu Hanchuan reminded her, Sheng Sheng, you don't have to cut all of it. Just cut a small piece. Okay. However, as soon as Qin Sheng inserted the knife into the cake, Fu Hanchuan took the knife and said gently, let me do it. Fu Hanchuan really didn't want Qin Sheng to do this kind of work. She should be well cared for and pampered like a little princess. Old Master Lu looked at this scene and snorted coldly. You little brat. Fu Hanchuan's concern for Qin Sheng was out of Old Master Lu's expectations. Old Master Lu was both pleased and angry. Fu Hanchuan liked Qin Sheng and cared about her. He was happy to see that. If Fu Hanchuan took a fancy to her, Qin Sheng would most likely be his granddaughter-in-law, and he wouldn't let other people's little brats get away with it. Fu Hanchuan could take good care of Qin Sheng. However, he was angry. His grandson was actually jealous of him. He tried to stop him from getting along with Qin Sheng. Everyone ate a small piece of cake. Old Master Lu took out a bowl of longevity noodles from the kitchen. There was an egg lying on it. Sheng Sheng. Old Master Lu handed a bowl of noodles to Qin Sheng. I made this. I haven't made it for more than 20 years. My cooking skills may not be very good. Qin Sheng took it and took a bite. She smiled and said to Old Master Lu, Grandpa Lu, it's very delicious. Qin Sheng didn't know how to cook. She was a kitchen killer. Old Master Lu's cooking skills were top-notch, and so was Fu Hanchuan's. He usually cooked alone at home and didn't ask the maids to come. His house was quite deserted. Usually, the maids would come to Fu Hanchuan's villa at the time of the day and clean it before going back. Hearing this, Old Master Lu smiled and said, It's good that you like it. He looked at Fu Hanchuan proudly. In Sheng Sheng's heart, he, Lu Zhonghua, was definitely the one that Sheng Sheng cared about the most. Brat, you still want to compete with me? Fu Hanchuan felt helpless when he received Grandfather Lu's smug look. Then, his gaze returned to Qin Sheng, gentle and affectionate. This bowl of noodles was not much, but after Qin Sheng ate it, she was already a little stuffed. Grandfather Lu took out a birthday gift for Qin Sheng. It was a painting of Grandfather Lu's, which was his favorite. There was once someone who wanted to buy this painting at a sky-high price of more than 200 million, but old Master Lu refused no matter what. Sheng Sheng, this is your birthday gift. Take it. Old Master Lu didn't feel sorry at all for giving this painting to Qin Sheng. Qin Sheng looked at it. It was the same as the painting from her previous life. She didn't refuse and took it. Thank you, Grandpa Lu. Sigh. Seeing Qin Sheng take the painting, old Master Lu smiled even more happily. He liked Qin Sheng's free and easy attitude. She was not shy at all, unlike other socialites who pretended to reject gifts. Grandpa, what is this? Lu Ming, who had just returned from playing basketball, squeezed his head out and asked. Old Master Lu glared at him impolitely. It's none of your business. Lu Ming saw the painting before he could put it away. He opened his mouth wide. Grandpa, isn't this your most precious painting? Thinking of the thank you Qin Sheng had just said, Lu Ming looked at old Master Lu in disbelief. Grandpa, back then, I was coaxed into doing a month's worth of work by you. In the end, you still refused to agree. Now, are you willing to part with it? Lu Ming was only 13 years old when he wanted the painting. He had heard that his grandfather's painting was very valuable. At that time, Lu Ming's monthly allowance was pitifully low. He only had 100 yuan, and he had already set his sights on old Master Lu's painting. After asking old Master Lu, he also knew that this painting was the most valuable. Lu Ming asked old Master Lu for it, but old Master Lu did not immediately refuse. Instead, he said that Lu Ming had to listen to him for a month and that he had to go east and never go west. Then, he would think about it carefully. Lu Ming often went against old Master Lu. For the sake of painting, he had to endure for a month. During this month, old Master Lu used all his strength to order Lu Ming around. He even wore all kinds of princess dresses and allowed old Master Lu to dress him up as a girl. After a month, Lu Ming once again opened his mouth to ask for the painting. Old Master Lu smiled and said that he had already thought about it and wouldn't give it to him. However, Lu Ming was furious and helpless. Old Master Lu indeed did not agree. He only said that he would consider it and did not say that he would give it to him. Lu Ming had never thought of this verbal trap. Thinking of this dark history, Lu Ming's tone was very grumpy. Grandfather, those who don't know would think that Qin Sheng is your biological grandchild. Once again, it proved that Lu Ming was indeed picked up by the Lu family. You stink. Old Master Lu frowned in disgust. Go take a shower. Lu Ming was now covered in the stench of sweat. He picked up the clothes on his chest and took a sniff, but he didn't find it smelly. It was a normal smell. Is it smelly? Lu Ming was very confused. Hurry up and go. Old Master Lu gave Lu Ming an excuse. Lu Ming agreed. He saw the decorations in the living room, and because of the painting, he probably thought that today was Qin Sheng's birthday. Before he left, Lu Ming did not forget to say, Happy birthday. Lu Ming was also quite impressed by Qin Sheng. She was better than Su Yishou in the exam. She even managed to make the people in class 4 submit to her. Of course, the most amazing thing was that Qin Sheng had captured Fu Hanchuan's heart. Qin Sheng had only known Fu Hanchuan for 2 months, but she had already taken down Fu Hanchuan, who was not close to women. Too awesome. After dinner, Fu Hanchuan sent Qin Sheng back to the Qin family. As soon as he got into the car, Fu Hanchuan gave Qin Sheng a red gift box. Happy birthday, Sheng Sheng. She opened the gift box. What greeted her eyes was a woman's watch. Under the headlights of the car, it emitted a warm white light. Fu Hanchuan's hand had also changed into a watch of the same style. Qin Sheng's was a couple's watch, which was unique in the world. It was custom-made by Fu Hanchuan. One was white, and the other was black. Fu Hanchuan held the gift box like this, and his palms were sweating. It could be seen that he was very nervous. Qin Sheng looked down. She also liked this watch very much. Thank you, Brother Fu. I like it very much. Seeing that Qin Sheng liked it, Fu Hanchuan let out a sigh of relief. He took off the watch. Sheng Sheng, let me put it on for you. Qin Sheng and Fu Hanchuan had gotten along like this in her previous life. She didn't feel that something was wrong, so she reached out her hand. Okay. Fu Hanchuan smiled and picked up Qin Sheng's hand. He carefully put the watch on Qin Sheng's wrist and buttoned it up. The watch was very suitable. Qin Sheng's skin was naturally white. When she wore the watch, she looked even fairer. Fu Hanchuan's watch was very close to Qin Sheng. Fu Hanchuan looked at it, and his eyes seemed to be shining with starlight. After he put the watch on Qin Sheng, Fu Hanchuan couldn't bear to let go of it. After all, he was worried that Qin Sheng would notice, so he could only let go reluctantly. Sheng, the Qin family won't celebrate your birthday. Grandpa and I are here, so you don't have to care too much about them. According to Qin Hai and Lin Shuya's attitude, they might have even forgotten Qin Sheng's birthday, not to mention celebrating her birthday. Fu Hanchuan had also investigated. When she was in the Feng family, Xin Mei and the others all disliked Qin Sheng, not to mention celebrating Qin Sheng's birthday. On the contrary, Xin Mei abused Qin Sheng even more on the day of her birthday. It was because Qin Sheng caused her to be separated from Qin Shuru, her flesh and blood. However, Xin Mei did not think that she was the one who switched the two children back then so that Qin Shuru could enjoy the life of a rich person in the city so that they could also enjoy life together in the future. Qin Sheng nodded and said indifferently, "It's enough that I have you guys. I won't care about them." Qin Sheng had made up her mind that she would not be soft-hearted towards them anymore. After a lifetime, she had already developed a heart of stone. Some stupid things were enough to be committed once. Sheng, when will you leave the Qin family? Fu Hanchuan asked with concern. Qin Sheng tilted her head and thought for a moment. Then, she opened her red lips and said, "Soon." She was already an adult, so some things could be put on the agenda. This time, she wanted to sever her relationship with the Qin family completely. "Is there anything I can help you with?" "No need." Hearing this, Fu Hanchuan felt a headache coming on. His Sheng seemed to be too powerful, so he couldn't get involved. Forget it, he could be her backup. Fu Hanchuan drove Qin Sheng back to the Qin family. Fu Hanchuan watched Qin Sheng enter the villa before leaving. Qin Hai and the others were not at home. A servant saw Qin Sheng, and according to Qin Shuru's instructions, she specifically told them where she went. Miss, Master, and Madam went to the hotel to hold a birthday party for Miss Churu. Qin Shuru's intention to show off was obvious. Qin Shuru and Qin Sheng had the same birthday. Qin Shuru was only born an hour later than Qin Sheng. Now, Qin Hai and the others only held a birthday party for Qin Shuru. They didn't care about Qin Sheng and didn't even prepare a small birthday cake. Qin Sheng naturally did not care about these things. Without saying anything, she went straight upstairs. The other servant who was cleaning came over and discussed with the servant from before. "I think that Master and Madam don't value Miss Qin Sheng at all. Otherwise, why would they not have any preparations for her birthday? Miss Qin Sheng's attitude is also unlikable. Who is she showing her cold face to every day? Yes, Miss Churu is still the best. She cares about us servants very much, unlike someone who keeps her nose up all day. We don't have to be too attentive to serve Qin Sheng. There's no benefit. Who knows, Qin Sheng might be driven out of the Qin family one day. I heard from Madam that day that Qin Sheng can't stay in the Qin family." "There's such a thing? How can I lie to you?" The servants also acted based on their employer's attitude. Lin Shuya and Qin Hai's attitude toward Qin Sheng was not good, so they naturally learned from it. On the day Qin Sheng returned, the servant whom she had taught a lesson walked over and heard their conversation. She sneered and said in a very strange tone, "You guys better not offend her. Who knows when she will report us to Sir and we will be fired." When the servants heard that, it made sense. They nodded. "We can look down on her, but we cannot offend her. I think this Qin Sheng is not a good person. We have to be careful." Qin Sheng returned to her room. She did not know what the servants downstairs were thinking. She turned on her computer and typed on the keyboard. She was editing a document. She wrote very quickly, as if she was not thinking. Qin Corporation. She knew about the situation of this company in her previous life. It was similar to the situation of Feng Corporation. Due to the unfair suppression of the rival company, they were facing a serious crisis. Originally, the public relations crisis this time was not very serious. However, due to the wrong operation and the encouragement of the rival company, it had now reached a point where it could not be stopped. Qin Sheng planned to do the same as before and use the conditions to exchange for the help of the Qin Corporation. Even if the Qin Corporation helped her to suppress the Qin Corporation's real estate, it would not do her any harm. However, if it were not for Qin Sheng helping them through this crisis, they would not have been able to free up their hands. In less than an hour, Qin Sheng had written down a document with more than 3,000 words. Then, her fingertips quickly typed on the computer, clicking the mouse from time to time. After a while, she got the basic information of the Qin Corporation's chairman and president. With a glance, she remembered Qin Quan's email number. Qin Sheng wrote a sentence and wrote down her phone number, then sent the email. Tomorrow at 6 p.m., I will come to your company. If you want to completely solve this crisis, see me. Qin Quan saw this sentence when he was looking at his mailbox at night. Qin Quan was stunned for a moment. This was the company's internal mailbox. How did they know? He did not think about this for long. His gaze landed on the words completely resolve this crisis. A glimmer of hope appeared in Qin Quan's heart. The crisis this time had come in waves. He had thought of many ways but could not resolve it. Now, it had become even more serious. If the crisis was not solved, the company would suffer a great loss. If the rival company stepped on it, the company would not be far from bankruptcy. Qin Quan had been worried these days. He had been thinking of ways every day. After 10 days, his hair had turned a little white. Staring at the message sent by Qin Sheng on the mailbox, Qin Quan's mind moved slightly. He asked tentatively, "Why are you helping me?" Click the confirmation button, the message was sent over. Qin Quan waited for 10 minutes, but no one replied. An hour later, there was still no reply. Qin Quan turned off his computer. Did they really have a way? The next morning, Qin Hai and the rest had breakfast downstairs. Qin Sheng also went downstairs. When Qin Hai saw Qin Sheng, he suddenly remembered that yesterday was also Qin Sheng's birthday. He did not feel the slightest bit of guilt. It did not matter whether he celebrated her birthday or not. Qin Shuru's eyes flashed slightly, and she was the first to speak. "Sister, why didn't you come over last night? Father and mother held a birthday party for me." Qin Sheng picked up a piece of toast and did not answer. Qin Hai also frowned. He explained, "Sheng, we did not hold a birthday party for you this time because we did not have the energy to do it. Now that the company is busy with matters every day, I have no way to prepare for your birthday. You didn't have a birthday party in the countryside either. It doesn't matter this time." Qin Hai found an excuse not to prepare for Qin Sheng's birthday. The corner of Qin Sheng's lips curled into a mocking smile, directly exposing the truth. "Since you don't have the time, why are you holding a party for Qin Shuru, this adopted daughter of yours? Don't you care about your biological daughter? It would probably take a lot of time to hold a party. If you don't have the time, don't hold it. Besides, isn't my mother a housewife who's always at home? She doesn't have time?" Qin Sheng's words almost said that Qin Hai and Lin Shuya were biased. Qin Sheng didn't mind that Qin Hai and the others didn't prepare her birthday, but it was good to annoy them. Qin Hai's face turned green and white from what was being said, and he was very embarrassed. After Lin Shuya heard Qin Sheng's words, she immediately frowned. "Qin Sheng, can you be sensible? You're the elder sister. Can't you let your younger sister go? You want to snatch everything from Roar." "She's only an hour younger than me," Qin Sheng said unhurriedly. Lin Shuya straightened her neck. "No matter how much younger she is than you, she's still your younger sister." Qin Sheng didn't say anything. Lin Shuya must have a hole in her brain. Qin Hai also frowned. During the days when Qin Sheng came back, Lin Shuya often acted like a shrew in the marketplace. Even though she was a little old, she was still dignified and elegant. Now, he only saw Lin Shuya throwing a tantrum from time to time, and she also said some unreasonable words. If Lin Shuya was also like this outside, he would have lost all face. Qin Shuru lowered her head and ate a small piece of bread, and there was a trace of pride in her eyes. Qin Shuru was very happy to see Qin Sheng and Qin Hai go against each other. In this way, Qin Hai and Lin Shuya would be very dissatisfied with Qin Sheng's biological daughter, and her position in the Qin family would also be firm. However, she raised her head and saw Qin Sheng eating breakfast. She didn't seem to be affected by Qin Hai and Lin Shuya. Qin Shuru was extremely unwilling. Qin Sheng would always be like this, as if she didn't care about anything. Even when her biological parents were talking about her, she still looked indifferent. What was she thinking in her heart? Qin Shuru ate a piece of bread and saw that Qin Sheng was almost full. She said again, "Sister, I heard from the servants yesterday that you came back at 9 o'clock in the evening. After school, I saw you get into a man's car. Sister, there are many bad people in H City. You are also beautiful, so it's easy for you to become their target. In the future, it's better for you not to casually interact with men outside." Qin Shuru looked like she was doing Qin Sheng a favor. Men? Qin Hai Saoen. This Qin Sheng was too outrageous. She was thinking about men at such a young age. Who is he? Qin Hai asked. No one. Qin Sheng's tone was very indifferent. The corners of Qin Shuru's lips curled up almost imperceptibly as she replied, I saw that he seems to be a teacher in our school. He teaches class 4. He said in school that he is my sister's brother. Qin Sheng, you have to understand your identity. My Qin family doesn't have a daughter like you who is immoral. Qin Hai's tone was very stern. Qin Hai knew that Qin Sheng didn't have an older brother and he didn't introduce her to other people in the Qin family. Where did this older brother come from? There was only one possibility, and that was the older brother of love. Qin Hai had lived for so long, and he was once called older brother by his lover. He understood that this older brother had another meaning. Qin Hai wouldn't allow Qin Sheng to have an affair with someone outside. After all, Qin Sheng was going to marry into a wealthy family in the future and bring benefits to the Qin family. No, Qin Hai stood up and said with a frown, I want to go to your school and talk to the principal. I can't let this kind of teacher lead the students astray. Hearing this, Qin Shuru was a little anxious. She was worried that Qin Hai would look at her differently if he knew how outstanding Qin Sheng was. Dad, it's better if you don't go over there, Qin Shuru stopped him. Qin Hai Saoen. Qin Shuru explained, the English teacher in class 4 was recruited by the principal. His family background seems to be better than ours. Even his clothes are custom-made. Qin Hai fell silent. His mind kept spinning. Good family background? Now that the company was in trouble, it would be great to have someone to help solve it. Qin Shuru had a bad feeling when she saw Qin Hai's reaction. As expected, she heard Qin Hai say in the next second, Sheng, since you like him, then go out with him properly. I won't interfere. Qin Hai was thinking that if Qin Sheng married early or married late, there would be no difference as long as it brought him benefits. Qin Sheng did not reply. She would never use Fu Hanchuan. Moreover, she would be able to leave the Qin family in a month at most. Qin Shuru pretended to be nice to her, and Qin Shuru was the one who started the conflict first. Qin Sheng could not understand why she was deceived by Qin Shuru in her previous life. As long as she put in her heart, she would discover Qin Shuru's true colors. I'm full. Qin Sheng stood up. Qin Hai also gave a rare reminder, okay, Sheng, come back earlier tonight. Qin Sheng could bring him benefits, so Qin Hai's attitude towards Qin Sheng was extremely good. Qin Shuru could not understand. She wanted Qin Hai to break up Qin Sheng and Fu Hanchuan, but now he was trying to set them up. Qin Shuru clenched the milk cup in her hand tightly. Why was it different from what she thought? Qin Hai put down his knife and fork, took out a napkin, and wiped his mouth. Oh right, my mom will come this afternoon. Shuya, I'm not at home. Help me pick her up. She's coming over? Lin Shuya's hand trembled, and the bread fell on the dining table. Qin Hai Saoen. Is there a problem? No, there's no problem. Lin Shuya quickly shook her head. Knowing that Qin Hai was a filial son, Lin Shuya did not dare to speak ill of his mother. Usually, old Madame Qin looked down on Lin Shuya and Qin Shuru. She felt that the daughter that Lin Shuya gave birth to was unable to carry on the family line, causing Qin Hai to lose his roots. Lin Shuya felt wronged. She did not know why after giving birth to Qin Sheng, she was unable to get pregnant. She went to see many doctors, but they all said that there was nothing wrong with her body. All these years, Qin Hai even went to bed after he returned to his room. He did not give her any chance. Whenever Lin Shuya seduced Qin Hai at night, most of the time, Qin Hai would say that she was insensible and stayed in the company every day, busying himself. He said that when he was tired, she would not let him take a good look or rest. Only a few times would Qin Hai have sex with her, and the time was very short. Lin Shuya suspected that Qin Hai had another woman. When she went to investigate, she found nothing. She slowly dispelled this idea. Qin Shuru was also the one who was tortured by old Madame Qin. One of the reasons why Lin Shuya treated Qin Shuru well was because she thought that mother and daughter were in the same boat. Qin Hai looked at Lin Shuya's unsightly expression. How could he not understand? He also knew that his mother was a little unreasonable. However, between his mother and Lin Shuya, he was naturally biased toward old Madame Qin. Qin Hai said to Lin Shuya, "Shuya, I know that mother doesn't treat you well and that you feel wronged. However, she is old after all. It's hard to guarantee that she will have a bad temper. She doesn't come to our house often. You should bear with her and endure for the next few days." Lin Shuya's expression did not improve. Qin Hai was merely comforting her. What old Madame Qin would be torturing her with still had to be experienced. His words were rather light, but it did not happen to him. Qin Shuru's expression was also not very good. Qin Shuru had always been a favored existence in the Qin family, and only old Madame Qin was very dissatisfied with her. She found excuses to scold her all day long. Qin Shuru was tired of hearing it. She really wanted to sow discord so that Qin Hai would not speak up for old Madame Qin in the future. Unfortunately, Qin Hai had a one-track mind towards old Madame Qin. As long as she said bad things about her, Qin Hai would not be polite and would say that she was her grandmother. She had to be more lenient. Qin Hai did not care about what Lin Shuya and the others thought. He only arranged for Lin Shuya to pick up old Madame Qin, which meant that he went to the company. The class of H City High School started at 8 in the morning. After breakfast, Qin Shuru also went to the school, leaving all of this to Lin Shuya alone. Lin Shuya could only reluctantly dress up and leave the house. She went to the airport to pick up old Madame Qin. The moment old Madame Qin saw her, she sized up Lin Shuya. Lin Shuya was wearing a skirt that reached her knees, and her face was also covered with makeup. Old Madame Qin frowned and began to scold her. "Lin Shuya, do you dress like a woman? Are you thinking of going out to seduce men? If you want to seduce men, you should do it earlier. Don't cling to my son. Seeing your big butt, I thought you were a good child. You can't even give birth to a son. Our old Qin family doesn't have a daughter-in-law like you. Look at your face. You're smearing so much powder on your face. You look like a white-faced ghost. And your skirt is too short. It's not dignified at all." "Mom." Lin Shuya's face flushed red. She seemed to have noticed that the people around her were laughing at her. "It's outside. Let's go back first." Lin Shuya wanted to take old Madame Qin's suitcase and bring her to the car. If she were to be continued like this, she would lose all her face. Old Madame Qin grabbed the suitcase with all her strength and shouted even louder, "You can't give birth to a son and you still want face? How can you take all the good things in the world?" This time, the people around stopped and watched a good show. "Mom, if you don't go back, I'll leave first." Lin Shuya's face was red, so she simply ignored old Madame Qin. Lin Shuya loved her face very much. She couldn't stand people talking about her in front of so many people. She also saw that old Madame Qin was determined to make her lose face. Lin Shuya walked out of the airport quickly. The old lady was behind her, pointing at Lin Shuya, cursing and spitting all the way. "Lin Shuya, let me tell you, if you take over my son and forbid him to go out and find a woman, I won't let you off. You married my son for 19 years and gave birth to a loser. How could my old Qin family let you in? Lin Shuya, you're living in our old Qin family now. If the Lin family doesn't want you, you have to be honest with me." "No, I have to tell my son every day. I can't take a woman like you." Lin Shuya listened and only wanted to find a hole to hide in. It was too embarrassing. She really wanted to scold old Madame Qin back, but because of Qin Hai, she didn't dare to oppose old Madame Qin. Old Madame Qin was not a kind person. People she couldn't stand, she would not give them face at all. She was also a talkative person. It was more than an hour's journey from the airport to the Qin family. She pointed at Lin Shuya and scolded her in all kinds of ways. In the beginning, old Madam Qin treated Lin Shuya extremely well. Lin Shuya also felt that old Madam Qin treated her better than her own mother. However, after the Lin family broke off their relationship with Lin Shuya, and Lin Shuya gave all the money she took from the Lin family to Qin Hai, Lin Shuya had no value left to be used. Old Madam Qin exposed her true nature and said all kinds of things about her and ordered her to work. As the Qin family's real estate grew bigger and bigger, old Madam Qin also became more and more displeased with Lin Shuya. She also began to think about giving Qin Hai women. Old Madam Qin also often criticized Lin Shuya in front of Qin Hai. Fortunately, Qin Hai did not have an affair with those women, so Lin Shuya did not mess with Qin Hai. As soon as Lin Shuya returned to the Qin family, she entered the room. Old Madam Qin looked at the dressing in the living room and frowned. She ordered the maid, "Bring me 5 flower pots and plant garlic in them. Also, take out all the salted fish that I put in the suitcase and cook them for dinner tonight." A maid was confused and asked the maid beside her, "Are you really going to do it?" This villa was worth at least 10 million yuan. Planting garlic sprouts and cooking salted fish in it, wouldn't that lower the quality of the villa? Another servant replied, "Do as she says. She is the master's mother, and master is filial. Master won't dare to disobey her words. As for her salted fish, just get used to it in the future." "Okay." The servant nodded. There weren't that many garlic bulbs in the house, so she went outside to buy some. She cut out the garlic and planted it in the flower pot. Lin Shuya didn't want to see old Madam Qin, so she stayed in her room. Old Madam Qin went over to call her out. "Knock, knock, knock." Old Madam Qin knocked on the bedroom door very loudly. Old Madam Qin said loudly, "You hide in your room all day long. Are you decent? Are you just waiting for people to serve you? Do you really think you are the eldest daughter of the Lin family? Wherever you go, you have your big brother spoiling you, and your parents protecting you? Now that you've severed your relationship with the Lin family, if you know what's good for you, then work hard. Don't act like the daughter of a wealthy family. My son is tired from working outside every day. The money he earns is all spent on you guys. I don't expect you to earn money like a high, but at least you can do your family's work well and not let him worry outside. What about you? You've been sleeping all day. What else can you do?" Lin Shuya was taking an afternoon nap. When she heard old Madam Qin's loud voice, she lifted the quilt. Her head was buzzing nonstop. Lin Shuya really hated old Madam Qin, but with Qin Hai's protection, she did not dare to do anything. Old Madam Qin was right. If Qin Hai and Lin Shuya divorced, since she had followed Qin Hai without graduating from university, it would be difficult for her to find a job outside. Lin Shuya was really afraid to break up with Qin Hai. Lin Shuya changed out of her pajamas and subconsciously wanted to grab a very sexy long dress. When she touched it just now, she heard old Madam Qin's voice outside the door again. Lin Shuya's hand turned around and she put on a very conservative set of clothes with short sleeves and long pants. Old Madam Qin was still cursing outside the door. When Lin Shuya opened the door, she was sprayed with saliva all over her face. Lin Shuya. She could smell a strong stench of garlic. Lin Shuya felt extremely disgusted and almost vomited. "Mom, I'm going back to my room. I'll go down to the living room immediately," Lin Shuya said quickly. Lin Shuya couldn't bear to stay any longer. She wanted to close the door, but old Madam Qin pressed on the door and didn't let her close it. She grabbed Lin Shuya's hand and dragged her downstairs. Old Madam Qin was only in her 60s, and her body was still very strong. She often worked, so she was very strong. Lin Shuya had been pampered since she was young. After she married Qin Hai, other than old Madam Qin coming over, she usually didn't even wash the dishes. Lin Shuya was weak, so old Madam Qin pulled her downstairs. "Lin Shuya, if you marry into our old Qin family, don't even think about enjoying life." After this period of time, the stench of garlic had subsided a lot. However, when Lin Shuya thought about how old Madam Qin had just spat on her, she felt extremely disgusted. However, old Madam Qin did not give her a chance to wash her face at all. Even if she went to the toilet, she would still warn Lin Shuya fiercely. "Stay in the living room obediently. Otherwise, I will complain to Ahai and see if Ahai will side with me, the mother who was pregnant with him for 10 months, or a woman who can't even give birth to a son like you. The fact that Lin Shuya hadn't given birth to a son for 19 years was a thorn in old Madame Qin's heart. Now, she seized the opportunity to use this to scold Lin Shuya. Lin Shuya didn't dare to refute. Her face alternated between red and white. It was a wonderful scene. After old Madame Qin left, Lin Shuya made some measurements in her heart and forced herself not to think about the stench of garlic on her body. After she finally took a breath, she smelled another smell. It smelled like sh*t. Lin Shuya followed the smell and walked over. She saw the place where the antiques used to be. It was filled with many worthless flower pots with pieces of white stuff on them. Lin Shuya frowned and asked, "What are these things?" The servant next to her replied, "Old Madam asked us to get them. It's garlic. Also, she wanted us to put some farm manure on the garlic." Lin Shuya. Planting garlic in the living room and putting some farm manure on it? This was a mid to high-end villa, yet old Madame Qin made it look like a farmhouse. Lin Shuya couldn't take it anymore. If she stayed any longer, she would be tortured until she went crazy. She took out her phone and complained to Qin Hai. Her tone was very bad. "Brother Hai, I can't take it anymore. She scolded me at the airport for not being able to give birth to a son. Now, she's planting garlic in the living room and applying farm manure. Now, the house is filled with a stench. You'd better send Mom back to your brother's house as soon as possible." "Shuya, just bear with it. She's only staying with us for a week or two. It'll be over soon," Qin Hai said indifferently. "Brother Hai." Lin Shuya was still trying to refute on the phone when the phone was hung up and a series of beeps came from the other end. Lin Shuya was angry and anxious. As expected, she was told to bear with it more. Qin Hai didn't see old Madame Qin's shrewd transmission. If he did, would he still be able to say such words? Lin Shuya's face stiffened, and her head turned stiffly. When she saw old Madame Qin, she subconsciously bent her back a little. She had gotten used to being taught by old Madame Qin all these years, and she began to fear old Madame Qin. Meeting old Madame Qin's sharp eyes, Lin Shuya explained in a panic, "Mom, I just asked Brother Hai about some things. I didn't complain." Old Madame Qin glared at Lin Shuya and snorted coldly, "My ears are still fine. I'm not deaf yet. You just complained to Ahai on the phone, saying that I despise you for not having a son. You said that I planted garlic in the living room and fertilized the house." Beads of sweat appeared on Lin Shuya's forehead. Old Madame Qin continued, "Lin Shuya, I'm doing this at my son's house. Is it bothering you? If you're unhappy, move out. If you have the ability, divorce Ahai. There are many women who want to join my old Qin family. Our old Qin family cannot afford to serve you. Fortunately, my son is filial. Otherwise, if you were to sow discord like this, I'm afraid he would complain to me." Tochka. Lin Shuya lowered her head and accepted old Madame Qin's reprimand. She did not dare to refute. Her face flushed red. After old Madame Qin said those words, she was still angry. She pointed at Lin Shuya and scolded her again. They were very close to each other. Old Madame Qin's saliva splashed on Lin Shuya's face, hair, and clothes. Lin Shuya didn't dare to move. 10 minutes later, she asked in a low voice, "Mom, are you tired? If you're tired, go sit down." Old Madame Qin stood for a long time and also felt a little tired. Old Madame Qin sat on the sofa. Lin Shuya exhaled heavily and wanted to leave. She wanted to go back to her room and take a shower immediately. Lin Shuya was also a germaphobe. Her body was stained with old Madame Qin's saliva. She couldn't stand it anymore and almost vomited. However, just as she took a step forward, old Madame Qin stopped her. Old Madame Qin looked at her with gloomy eyes. "Where are you going?" "Mom, I'm going back to my room," Lin Shuya replied. She had a bad premonition in her heart. She had vaguely guessed what old Madame Qin was going to do. Sure enough, old Madame Qin said, "Just stand there and don't move." Lin Shuya's body stiffened. Old Madame Qin kept lecturing Lin Shuya while Lin Shuya was standing. "Lin Shuya, if I don't teach you a lesson, you'll forget who you are. I'm your mother. Whatever I want to do to you, you'll have to suffer for it." You'd better not have any ulterior motives. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. And that money-losing thing of yours. In the future, find a good family to marry her to and take more dowries. It's finally worth it after raising her for so many years. Lin Shuya clenched her fists in resentment and stood behind old Madame Qin, glaring at her. She was already over 60 years old, yet she still didn't die. Lin Shuya felt wronged. Her own mother-in-law didn't like her and liked to torment her. Her husband was also on her mother-in-law's side. She could only swallow this grievance alone. An hour later, it was already 4 o'clock. Lin Shuya could barely stand. Old Madame Qin looked at the time. Qin Hai should be back by 5 o'clock. Old Madame Qin's gaze fell on Lin Shuya again. She waved her hand. All right, stop standing there. I'm just teaching my daughter-in-law. Those who don't know will think that I'm torturing my daughter-in-law. Lin Shuya heaved a sigh of relief. She dragged her aching legs to the sofa and sat down. However, just as she sat on the sofa, old Madame Qin glared at Lin Shuya again. Mom, what's wrong? Lin Shuya was frightened and quickly stood up. Did I ask you to sit down? Old Madame Qin sounded very displeased. Didn't you ask me not to stand? Lin Shuya was very confused. Asking her not to stand there, in other words, asking her to sit down? You still dare to refute? Old Madame Qin glared at Lin Shuya unkindly. Lin Shuya. She lowered her head. Mom, I'm sorry. Old Madame Qin was such an unreasonable person, and Lin Shuya was already used to it. Old Madame Qin ordered impatiently, Haier should be back by now. Go and cook. I'm going to cook? Lin Shuya pointed at herself in surprise. Do you want me to go alone? Lin Shuya hurriedly explained. No, Mom. Aren't there servants here? You know that the servants cook all the food at home. Men are tired from work. When they come home at night, isn't it just to have a bite of the hot food cooked by their wives? You asked the maid to cook, could it be that the maid is Qin Hai's wife? Old Madame Qin's reasoning was one of a kind, and it made Lin Shuya speechless. She could only agree. The Lin family doted on Lin Shuya very much, but they also thought that she would be able to stand in her husband's family if she married into a good family and had good cooking skills, so they specially asked the master to teach Lin Shuya. Lin Shuya had good cooking skills. Normally, it was nothing to ask her to cook a meal, but now her entire body seemed to be covered in old Madame Qin's saliva. She had been standing there for an hour just now, and her legs were sore. She could barely stand. Now, she was still asking her to cook, and Lin Shuya was extremely unwilling. But being stared at by old Madame Qin like this, she could only drag her sore legs into the kitchen. Old Madame Qin also followed her in. Ahai is tired from working outside, so he needs to eat better. Lin Shuya, just take 5 dishes of meat and 2 vegetable dishes. It's not much. Lin Shuya. Not much? Lin Shuya still wanted to decline, so she found an excuse. Look, Mom, we don't have so many ingredients at home. We can only cook 3 dishes of meat and 1 vegetable dish. Old Madame Qin raised her eyebrows and looked at the place where the ingredients were placed. She had already instructed the servants to buy all of these early on. Lin Shuya followed old Madame Qin's line of sight and saw a lot of ingredients. It was enough to cook 5 dishes of meat and 2 vegetables. Lin Shuya had no excuse. She could only grit her teeth and start choosing the dishes. Old Madame Qin watched her for a while outside before leaving. Old Madame Qin, let us go and help her, a servant asked. Old Madame Qin glared at her. Where are you going? Let her cook alone. Old Madame Qin thought of the salted fish and ordered, bring the 2 salted fishes to Lin Shuya. Let her cook them well and eat them tonight. The servant followed old Madame Qin's instructions and brought the fish to Lin Shuya. Lin Shuya could faintly smell a strong fishy smell. She frowned and asked, What is this? The servant told Lin Shuya what old Madame Qin said. Lin Shuya had no choice but to open the bag. The fishy smell became stronger, and Lin Shuya's stomach churned. She ran into the bathroom and vomited. Old Madame Qin glanced at Lin Shuya. Lin Shuya was still too young to fight with her. Lin Shuya came out of the bathroom and took out a mask to put on. Old Madam Qin didn't bother her anymore. After all, Qin Hai was coming back soon. She couldn't let her son go hungry. Lin Shuya cooked was very quickly. She finished all the dishes in more than an hour. When Qin Hai came back, he saw that the table was full of dishes. Qin Hai was very surprised. What are we celebrating today? Lin Shuya forced a smile. Isn't Mom here? I'll make more for Mom. Lin Shuya was in a mess, and her hair was messy. Qin Hai frowned in disgust. But he was also relieved. It's good that you have the heart. *T. When old Madam Qin walked over, she heard Lin Shuya's words, and her son even praised her. Old Madam Qin spat. I was the one who asked her to cook so much for Ahai to eat. How dare she retort, saying that she can't eat so much and only needs to cook 4 dishes. Is this how she treats me? Qin Hai was a little dissatisfied with Lin Shuya, so he didn't say anything. All right, let's eat. Qin Hai looked around the living room, but he didn't see Qin Churu. Qin Hai Fsawen. Where's Roer? Shouldn't she be back by now? It was almost 6 o'clock, and Lin Shuya was also worried. She hurriedly said, I'll give her a call. Qin Churu was dawdling outside, not wanting to come back. At this moment, Lin Shuya called, so she could only rush to the Qin family. Churu is finally willing to come back. Old Madam Qin said in a strange voice, how can you make the whole family wait for you to eat? Qin Churu apologized in a low voice, Grandma, I was delayed because I had something to do. All right, let's go eat. In front of Qin Hai, old Madam Qin did not go too far. She knew her limits and went too far. If she did, she would make Qin Hai sympathize with the mother and daughter, and Qin Hai would also side with them. With a good sense of propriety and filial piety pressing on Qin Hai would not complain in his heart. The family of 4 sat at the dining table. Apart from the other 5 meats and 2 dishes, there were also 2 salted fish that had already been cooked, and they were very fishy. Old Madam Qin's eyes rolled around. She took the chopsticks that she had eaten before and picked up the salted fish for Lin Shuya and Qin Churu. They subconsciously wanted to remove their bowls, but it was too late. The rice was surprisingly salted fish meat, and there was quite a lot of it. Old Madam Qin said kindly, Shuya, Churu, eat more. I pickled this myself and brought it here for you to try. Lin Shuya's expression was as disgusting as if she had eaten a fly. There were rice grains on old Madam Qin's chopsticks, and they were already on the fish. Lin Shuya held the chopsticks in her hand and did not move. Old Madam Qin's face turned cold. Do you not like the fish cooked by an old lady like me? Lin Shuya's lips curled into a smile. She forced a smile and said, How could I? Mom, I like it very much. Lin Shuya endured the nausea and picked up a small piece of fish and put it into her mouth. It was not only fishy but also very salty. Lin Shuya couldn't stand it after eating just a little bit. However, she could only bite down on it under old Madam Qin's gaze. Old Madam Qin nodded in satisfaction and looked at Qin Churu again. The meaning in her eyes was very obvious. Qin Churu could only eat it. Qin Churu looked down on these salted fish, thinking that only poor people would eat these things. Old Madam Qin was really too much. It wasn't like her father didn't give her money, yet she still ate these cheap goods. Qin Churu muttered in her heart, but she didn't dare to show a trace of dissatisfaction on her face. If old Madam Qin discovered it, there were many ways to torment her. Qin Churu frowned. She ate very slowly, and so did Lin Shuya. This thing was really disgusting, and they couldn't accept it. However, Qin Hai ate with relish. Qin Hai grew up in the countryside, and even eating these salted fish was a very extravagant thing. Salted fish had become a delicacy in Qin Hai's eyes. Qin Churu and Lin Shuya hadn't finished eating the fish meat for a long time. They were thinking of throwing it away after old Madam Qin left. However, old Madam Qin had been staring at them and had no intention of leaving. Lin Shuya and Qin Churu could only bite the bullet and eat it. Qin Corporation. Qin Quan had been waiting for Qin Sheng since a long time ago. He was on the first floor of the company. From time to time, he would run over to the front desk lady and ask if anyone had come to look for him. It was already after work, so very few people from the company stayed behind. Qin Quan looked at his watch from time to time. When he saw that it was already 6 o'clock in the evening and no one had come over, Qin Quan frowned. The other party couldn't be playing with him, could they? Qin Quan had the thought of giving up. He wanted to go back to the company and think of a countermeasure instead of wasting time here. The moment the needle pointed at his watch, Qin Sheng stepped into the company's door. She came to the front desk. The front desk lady asked politely, "Miss, who are you looking for?" "Your chairman." The front desk lady looked at Qin Sheng strangely. She was wearing a school uniform and carrying a school bag. Judging from her appearance, she should still be a high school student. Although she was puzzled, she thought of Qin Quan's instructions and nodded. "I'll go ask our chairman now." The receptionist came to Qin Quan. "Chairman, someone is looking for you." Qin Quan had stood for a long time and his feet were tired. He wanted to sit down and rest. At this moment, when he heard the receptionist's words, he suddenly stood up and walked over. He looked around but did not see anyone. Qin Quan frowned and asked, "Where is she?" "This young lady is her." When Qin Quan saw her, his heart turned cold. It seemed that the person had not come over yet. But he was still very polite. "Young lady, may I ask if you are looking for me?" Qin Sheng turned around and faced Qin Quan. "Hello, Chairman Qin. I am the person who sent you the email last night." Shen Guan. He suspected that he had heard wrongly. After being stunned for a few seconds, he asked uncertainly, "What did you say?" Qin Sheng repeated what she had said. This time, Qin Quan really heard it clearly. However, his heart had already turned cold. It looked like that email was just a prank by a little girl. It couldn't be taken seriously. Moreover, he believed it and placed his last hope on that email. Qin Quan didn't vent his anger on Qin Sheng. His tone was still very good. "Little sister, go back. Don't prank me anymore. I don't have so much time to waste with you." No matter what, Qin Quan didn't believe that a high school student like Qin Sheng could help him solve this crisis. Many of his elite students who graduated from top universities in China and abroad had no idea. What good ideas could a high school student who was still studying come up with? Qin Quan couldn't be blamed for being suspicious. Qin Sheng's school uniform and her age didn't have any credibility. "Chairman Qin." Qin Sheng lowered her eyebrows and looked a little casual. "Even if you make use of all your time, can you solve it?" Qin Quan's expression changed slightly. During this period of time, Qin Quan had been thinking of ways to solve the crisis. He had also used some of the ideas that he thought were good to solve the crisis. However, the results were counterproductive. The situation was getting worse and worse. Qin Quan did not dare to casually make a move. If he did not make a move, the situation would be better. However, Qin Quan could not sit still and allow the situation to worsen. Qin Sheng glanced at Qin Quan and said, "Give me some time. I will convince you to follow my method." Qin Sheng's eyes were filled with confidence. For some reason, Qin Quan believed in Qin Sheng. This young lady might not be joking. Shen Guan nudda. "Okay, let's talk." This little bit of time was indeed nothing. But if she really had a way, the company could be saved. Qin Quan brought Qin Sheng to the VIP reception room. He poured a glass of water for Qin Sheng, but she didn't drink it. "Before that, I have one condition," Qin Sheng said. Qin Quan sat up straight. "If your method works, I will satisfy you. Help me deal with the Qin real estate." Qin Quan frowned slightly and felt somewhat awkward. "Our Qin family's development in real estate is limited and we don't pay attention to it. Compared to the Qin real estate, I am afraid it is much worse." Qin Sheng said with a smile, "I'll give you a chance to develop the Qin family's real estate. This time, your real estate will surpass the Qin family's real estate." The hope that Qin Quan had just risen disappeared once again. The real estate would surpass the Qin family in a short period of time? This was a fantasy. Almost all of the real estate in H City was controlled by those few families. Initially, he also wanted to develop the Qin family's real estate, but he didn't have the chance. After this crisis, the company's capital was in trouble, and the real estate industry was an industry with a lot of investment. Qin Quan was even prepared to remove the real estate industry. Qin Sheng saw the disbelief in Qin Quan's eyes, but she didn't care. Qin Sheng opened her school bag and took out a document from it. She took out a piece of paper from the folder. Chairman Qin, take a look. It was filled with words. Qin Quan did not believe Qin Sheng, but he still took it and looked at it seriously. Qin Quan wanted to take a quick glance so that Qin Sheng's confidence would not be affected. However, a few seconds later, his eyes suddenly stopped. He looked at the girl who was lazily leaning on the sofa in disbelief. She wrote it? Qin Quan retracted his contempt and read it seriously. 10 minutes later, Qin Quan put down the document. His suspicious gaze landed on Qin Sheng. Did you really write this alone? No matter who wrote it, as long as it's useful, it's fine, right? Qin Sheng smiled. But her attitude already indicated that she wrote it. Qin Quan looked Qin Sheng in the eye. Perhaps there was no lack of geniuses in this world. If Qin Sheng helped him, with Qin Sheng's ability, wouldn't she be able to help the Qin Corporation get through this crisis? I agree. Qin Quan did not hesitate anymore and spoke with certainty. Qin Sheng took out a contract. If you agree, then sign it. Qin Sheng was very cautious. She would not easily trust a stranger. Qin Quan scrawled his name on the contract. Qin Sheng also signed it. She gave a contract to Qin Quan and kept one for herself. Only then did Qin Sheng take out the document that she had written last night. Qin Quan took the document and flipped through it with great care. The document that Qin Sheng had given him to deal with the Qin Corporation's real estate had already amazed him. Presumably, it would not be bad. Director Qin, if your company is short of funds, you can look for me. However, I want to invest in your company. Qin Sheng had been trading in the stock market during this period of time. In just over a month, she had already earned 400 million from investing tens of millions of capital. Qin Sheng would not enter the stock market in a short period of time. If she earned too much, it was inevitable that she would attract attention. She was not strong enough yet and could not be like Fu Hanchuan, who could openly invest tens of billions into the stock market. Qin Sheng was a person who despised trouble. She would try her best to avoid those troublesome things. Qin Sheng had hit the nail on the head. Qin Quan really needed funds now. He was unwilling to borrow money from the bank. As for other companies, they would find all kinds of excuses to avoid it. Qin Quan already wanted to sell his car and house. If he couldn't, he would have to borrow money from loan sharks. However, could she really come up with such funds? With this in mind, Qin Quan also asked, "Miss, how much do you have?" Qin Sheng asked back, "How much do you want?" Qin Quan thought for a while and said a more conservative figure. 90 million. Qin Sheng stood up. Okay, I'll transfer the money to your card. Qin Sheng took her bag and wanted to leave, but was stopped by Qin Quan. Miss, do you have my bank card number? Qin Sheng replied indifferently, yes. Shen Guan. How could he forget that Qin Sheng had sent an email to the company's internal email box last night? She should have all his information, so she naturally knew his bank card number. Qin Sheng thought of something and said, "Your company's firewall is a little bad. I think one of the reasons why your company encountered this crisis was because of the theft of internal information. I can help you strengthen your firewall. I can guarantee that no hacker in this world can break in, including me." Conditions? Qin Quan knew that Qin Sheng had definitely had some evil ideas since he took the initiative to help him. I want 10 million. You can pay it after you guys get through this crisis. Shen Guan. Qin Quan pondered for a while. 10 million was not a lot. If he hired other technicians to reinforce the firewall, not only would he spend a lot of money, but he would also spend a lot of time. He would not be able to get a good result. If it was really like what Qin Sheng said, the firewall that she had reinforced could withstand any hacker, then this 10 million was worth it, and she had also earned it. After thinking it through, Qin Quan nodded. If it's really like what you said, I agree. Okay. In fact, Qin Sheng was not only doing it for the 10 million yuan, but also for her 90 million yuan investment. Qin Sheng did not want the Qin Corporation to encounter such a crisis again. After Qin Sheng left, Qin Quan opened the document and continued to read. Qin Sheng listed out the steps clearly. As he read, Qin Quan was more and more amazed. His heart that had been worried all this time was also relieved. 2 hours later, Qin Quan called the public relations department and instructed, activate the self-deprecating mode. Tell them all the things that we did well or did badly. The more deprecating, the better. The truth and falsehood were mixed together. If he told it in a joking manner, the public's acceptance rate would be higher. The public relations department head. Has the chairman lost his mind? The director of the public relations department asked tentatively. Chairman, are you sure? Follow my instructions. Yes. The director of the public relations department nodded. He did not dare to delay. After hanging up the phone, he immediately instructed his subordinates to do it. He did not ask why. Qin Quan's actions had a reason. Qin Sheng really did not want to see the faces of the Qin family. After a simple dinner outside, she returned to the Qin family. Just as she arrived at the door, she heard old Madame Qin's loud voice. Lin Shuya, do you know? There are 3 ways to be unfilial. It is better to have no children. Look, you have been married to a Hai for 19 years, but you only have 1 daughter. Do you still have the cheek? Qin Hai was also a traditional person. He was very dissatisfied that Lin Shuya did not give birth to a son for him, so he let old Madame Qin speak. Old Madame Qin turned to Qin Hai. Ah Hai, since Lin Shuya can't give birth to a son, you might as well go out and find another woman to give birth to another. Men, especially outstanding men, have a wife at home and many lovers outside. Mom. Lin Shuya's eyes were red. She didn't give birth to a son, but was it her fault? There was nothing wrong with her body. Qin Hai had also examined her, and her body was fine. She just couldn't get pregnant. What could she do? After giving birth to Qin Sheng,